Adults are just big ass kids that pay bills. What I mean by that is that inner wounded child will always be there. Even if you try to mask it, even if you try to suppress it, even if you think, oh, I need to heal from my ex that hurt me. That's the only reason why I'm like this. No. Let's talk about the things that happened in your childhood that led you to be with that person. Let's talk about the things that you just brushed off because you're like, oh, that happened so long ago. I was a kid. Yeah, but guess what? Kids are sponges. And the things that happen in the first 7 years of your life, that shapes and molds who you are. So if you have a lot of trauma, that's going to affect you as an adult. Instead of suppressing your inner wounded child, and instead of feeling like I have to get rid of my inner wounded child, I have to heal it once and for all. I have to do all the therapy. I have to do all the psychedelics. I have to go to this retreat and meditate all day. And instead of doing that, instead of trying to get rid of it or suppress it and silence it, why don't you love on it? Why don't you go back in your mind? Go back to when you were 7. Go back to when you were 10. Go back to when you were 4. Whatever age you were when certain things happened to you. And why don't you imagine yourself as your higher self, going back to that version of you and hugging yourself and telling yourself everything's going to be okay, baby. You are enough. You are worthy. The things that happened to you as a child, you did not deserve. It was just people passing their trauma onto you, but it was never about you. So don't take it personal. Don't let that dictate how you feel about yourself. These are the things you have to tell your inner wounded child. These are the things you have to tell your younger self. Meditate, literally meditate and visualize this in your mind. It is so powerful when you do it. I've done it so many times and it's brought me to tears, and I really felt like I was releasing. Some people really believe things that you heal from can never be triggers for you again. But guess what? I believe that because the devil is real, the devil is always going to try to attack you, and he will try to use things that you really have healed from. But here's the thing, here's how you know that you've truly healed. If you're able to catch it and check it, and you don't believe the lies. Because anytime something triggers you to feel how you felt as a child or whenever certain traumas happen to you have the choice to feed into that or to recognize, nigga, I ain't stupid. I ain't stupid. This ain't the same me 10 years ago. This ain't the same me 5 years ago. I'm not feeding into that. Because here's the thing, you can have any thought come into your mind, but you don't have to believe it. You don't have to feed into it. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. In Hebrew, the word Satan means adversary or accuser. So literally the devil is a liar. That dark force, because the devil is not a human. The devil is not a person. The devil is that dark force. And it is a liar. It is an accuser, an adversary. Do you think accusers or adversaries are honest? No. So when you have certain thoughts creep in that you're like, man, hold on, I've healed from this. Why is this triggering me? Just know that is the enemy trying to sneak attack you. Don't believe it. And don't feel like, oh, I haven't healed. I need to do more work. No, you just need to make sure that you're constantly parenting and monitoring your inner child. If you've seen the movie Inside Out, it's a Disney animated movie, really good movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend. A lot of these little kid movies really be for adults. They really be having deep messages. But anyway, in the movie, the main character is a little girl, and she has different aspects of herself in her mind: joy, anger, fear, sadness. And in the movie, it's depicted as characters. And I took the concept from that movie and I was like, in my mind, I'm going to have a council of members of myself, like pretty much like different versions of myself. So in my mind, I have this spaceship Similar to how the movie is, how the different aspects of herself are pretty much in this like spaceship looking thing in her mind. I have that in my mind. And there's a little me, like 2, 3-year-old me. There's like 7-year-old me. There's 15-year-old me. And then there's 25-year-old me. And then there's like me 10 years from now. And the me 10 years from now, my higher self, my future self, is constantly keeping the younger ones in check. This is what I visualize in my mind, and it's very powerful. So let's say a certain situation happens, or a certain thought creeps in that triggers me. My higher self will step in and say, no, 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 Kyla, that's the 5-year-old you. And my higher self will start counseling and coaching the 5-year-old me. I will visualize this in my mind. My higher self hugging that younger version of me and counseling myself, coaching myself, visualizing my 5-year-old me crying and my higher self hugging the 5-year-old me, literally like a parent would do to a child. Because here's the thing, a lot of us didn't get that from our parents, and that's what we needed. But guess what? Now it's up to you to be your own parent. You will never get to a point where nothing triggers you. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how much inner work you do. And I believe in healing. I believe that you can heal from anything, but even the things you heal from can still be triggers for you, because like I said, the devil is real and he's very crafty, and he will try any little nook and cranny he can get in. He will use anything he can to get in. The key is to make peace with your inner wounded child and to give yourself the grace and the patience you felt you needed as a child. And what's going to help with your inner wounded child is being in touch with your childlike self that's fun and playful. I'm going to be honest when I say I am more playful and childlike now than when I was a child. And sometimes I'll be like, is something wrong with me? Because why am I constantly giggling and laughing and just being so joyful? But then I'm like, Kyla, no, it's nothing wrong with you. Joy is one of the fruits of the spirit. You're actually doing the right thing. It's actually good that you're like this. I love you guys. I pray this message was helpful. If it was, make sure you like it. Please make sure you subscribe, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye.